You ever spend a decade building something with your bare hands, dreaming of the day it's finally yours, only to have it nearly ripped away the moment you arrive? Yeah, that happened to me. 12 years, one mountain home, and a promise to myself that I'd never answer to anybody's rules but my own. No board, no dues, no neighbors telling me what shade of brown is acceptable. Just 6 acres of pine and quiet up in North Georgia, where the only thing I wanted to hear at night was the wind through the trees. So picture this. I'm pulling up the drive on move-in day, rented box truck packed with every tool, mattress, and half-finished project I own, and what do I see? Not a welcome sign, not a wreath, but a damn gate. Glossy, automatic, with solar panels and a steel lockbox, and 3 people in matching green polos standing right in the middle of my road. One's got a walkie, another's wielding a clipboard like it's the Magna Carta, and front and center, there's a woman with a smile sharp enough to slice through drywall. Introducing herself as Karen Hamilton, president of the Chestnut Ridge Community HOA. I'm half awake, covered in concrete dust, just wanting to dump some boxes, and she hits me with, "Before you proceed to your property, we need you to complete our new owner registration and sign your HOA agreement." Just a formality, really. I swear I almost laughed. I told her flat out, "No, thanks, I'm not in your HOA." But she's got that look, the one people get when they're about to sell you a timeshare. She points at a sign zip-tied to a tree and says they passed a boundary amendment. Now all properties accessible from this road are under their control. Just like that, poof, you're in the club whether you like it or not. I step out of the truck, ready to argue, but she doesn't flinch. Tells me if I don't sign, they'll call the sheriff for trespassing. On my own land. You know what I mean? The guy with the walkie even steps forward, chest puffed, ready to play security guard. So I snap some photos of the whole circus, hop back in the truck, and decide to try my luck with the old service path that cuts around a creek. Nearly bottomed out, but hell, I made it to my porch, started unloading, and tried to settle in. But that night, stretched out on a sleeping bag on a plywood floor, I couldn't sleep for the life of me. Not from the cold or coyotes, but thinking about Karen's smirk and that damn gate. By sunrise, I was calling an attorney out of Atlanta, Matt Reyes. Ex-prosecutor, curses at printers, drinks coffee that could strip paint. The kind of guy you want when someone's trying to steal your life with a smile and a clipboard. By Monday, we'd filed a complaint for unlawful obstruction of access to private land. And just like that, I realized this was about to get ugly. When we hit the county office, Matt pulled every deed, survey, and affidavit I had, plus a notarized letter from the old owner saying he'd never signed up for any HOA, and neither had I. But the county clerk pulls up this scanned PDF, calls it a boundary amendment, dated 2 months after I bought the land, with a digital signature from the old owner. Except he's on the phone with us 5 minutes later, cursing, swearing he never signed a damn thing, said he sold the place to avoid people like Karen. So now, on top of everything, we've got a forged signature and a legal document written after the sale. Matt files for an injunction, but the hearing's not till Thursday, meaning 3 long days for Karen and her crew to play games. Sure enough, Tuesday morning, my old creek path is blocked with freshly cut logs. No notes, just a big, sticky screw you to anyone trying to get through. I take photos, send them to Matt. We call the zoning office. No record of any approved boundary expansion. Their land use coordinator suddenly isn't available for days. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just Karen being Karen. Someone at the county was either asleep at the wheel or she'd greased the right palms. Because who installs a permanent motorized gate on a private road without anyone noticing? By Wednesday, I'm sleeping in the back of my truck, hand on my .357, flashlight burning holes in the dark. Around 3 a.m., headlights cut through the woods, a black SUV, engine idling at the gate. It's Karen, just sitting there, staring into the trees, waiting for what? I don't know. But I knew then, this wasn't about rules or neighborhood harmony. This was a hostile takeover. Court day rolls around, and I show up in my cleanest jeans, Karen's in pearls, and a country club blazer. Judge Langford's the real deal, no patience for drama. Matt lays out the timeline, my purchase date, the faked amendment, the forgery, the blocked road. Photos, affidavits, the whole works. Karen's lawyer drones about community integrity and historic use. But when the judge asks if the signature's real, the guy freezes. Judge orders the amendment stricken, gives Karen 15 days to yank the gate, and warns her any more funny business will land her in contempt. The deputy and I cut the lock together. Gate swings open. Feels like a victory, but the celebration doesn't last. HOA sends out an email spinning the court order as a safety threat. Someone posts my house on Facebook, accuses me of being a hostile criminal. Neighbors start side-eyeing me. One emails to ask if I really threatened to shoot anyone. Hadn't even met the guy? It's clear I didn't just beat Karen. I embarrassed her, and that's the one thing folks like her can't stand. At the feed store, an old-timer in line behind me nods, says I've got more support than I know. That Chestnut Ridge has been running roughshod for years, just no one stood up before. Back home, I'm hanging no trespassing signs when Karen shows up across from where the gate used to be, arms folded, promising, we're redrawing the map. She drives off, but that line sticks with me, redrawing the map. Suddenly, this isn't just about one property. Matt and I dig deeper. We find out Chestnut Ridge bought 2 lots bordering the only access road, both from elderly couples, through an LLC registered to Karen's legal bulldog, Russell Dobbins. The deals are fishy, prices suspiciously low. We meet Mrs. Mroy, 91, sharper than most lawyers I've met. Tells us Karen scared her husband into signing by threatening to cut off emergency services. That's when Matt calls in a favor at the Georgia Department of Consumer Affairs. I keep digging and find a buried notice on the HOA website. Public meeting, amendment vote, all before they blocked my road. Attendance list isn't published, minutes are redacted, and they claim a unanimous vote to absorb every parcel along the corridor for traffic equity. What the hell does that even mean? Matt's furious, says it's fraudulent expansion. But what I really need is proof they planned it all. That comes from a neighbor named Travis, shows up with a 6-pack, says he used to do grading work for them, hands me a contract showing they paid Mountain Road Services $78,000 to stabilize my road before they even tried to annex it. Company's owned by Dobbins's brother-in-law. We finally have proof it's a setup. We gather every contract, every plat map, every record we can, and I hide copies in a fireproof box. Because Karen's not just fighting dirty, she's thinking long-term. 2 days after Travis gives me the smoking gun, I come home and find a brand new keypad lock on my side gate. Not mine, and a laminated HOA notice on my door. Access denied unless I register. There's even a little smiley face on the notice, like this is a public library. And perched on my porch is a sleek black camera, red LED blinking, branded HOA Smart Access. I check the rest of the cabin. Locks everywhere, more cameras, mics, sensors. It's like a dystopian HOA version of Big Brother. My hands are shaking as I call Matt. He says call the sheriff. A deputy named Banks shows up, films everything. Looks like he wants to throw up. I pull the power panel on the new camera and find a micro SD card. Inside, crystal clear footage of 2 men in green polos, headlamps, keys, drills, laughing as they break in and install the whole system. One flips off the camera at the end. I recognize him. It's the guy with the walkie from day one. Matt arrives and says, we're pressing charges, burglary, trespassing, unauthorized surveillance, wiretapping. Banks agrees. We later find out the keys they used were stolen from one of my old contractors months ago, meaning this was premeditated. Sheriff's office starts an investigation. I file a complaint for unlawful entry and install my own security system, but honestly, I don't feel secure. Now I know exactly what I'm up against. This is a war. Matt puts together a lawsuit the size of a phone book. Civil suit against Chestnut Ridge HOA, Karen, Dobbins, and their shell companies for racketeering, fraud, trespassing, unlawful surveillance, you name it. Within days, the Department of Consumer Affairs sends investigators, state agents audit the HOA office, and the county suddenly wants to tour my property. I show them everything, video, printouts, timestamps. One agent whistles, says she's never seen a coordinated attack like this from an HOA. Bank records confirm what we already knew, monthly transfers from HOA dues into shell companies and straight into Dobbins family accounts. A whistleblower leaks a memo showing Karen donated to the zoning chief's campaign through her shell company. Now the state attorney general is involved. The courtroom fills up with reporters, property owners, and curious locals. Matt lays out the entire plot, fake amendments, fake meetings, illegal surveillance, financial laundering, and the attempt to force non-HOA properties into their kingdom. Witnesses are called. Travis tells how Karen paid cash and threatened holdouts. Mrs. Roy testifies about the intimidation, the fake notary, at 9 p.m. The porch footage plays, and you could hear a pin drop when the guy on camera flips off the lens. Matt walks the jury through the whistleblower memo, campaign payments, and how the expansion just so happened to match the money flowing into the right pockets. Karen takes the stand, but her mask is slipping, raises her voice, accuses us of running a witch hunt, and calls me a provocateur. The jury deliberates 6 hours and comes back guilty. Karen's sentenced to 9 years, banned for life from any HOA leadership in Georgia. Chestnut Ridge is dissolved, fined, forced to pay back every cent. Dobbins loses his license. The zoning chief resigns. The next day, I take down that gate myself, flip it upside down, and leave it across the road as a warning. 6 months later, the air's clearer, neighbors wave, and the old HOA sign's been hammered face down into a ditch. The county finally confirms the road's a permanent easement. Can't ever be claimed by any HOA fantasy. That document hangs in my foyer, next to the level I used to square my first wall. Now, folks stop by with pie and firewood. Travis helps me grade the slope, and Mrs. Roy calls just to chat. Matt's lobbying for a state HOA abuse reporting unit. Says our fight made folks wake up. Karen's name now sits at the top of a permanent blacklist. And that gate, it's still rusting at the end of my drive, right next to a new sign, painted by hand. Private property, not part of any HOA. Trespassers will meet lawyers. Underneath in small print, you don't belong here. You leave here. People laugh at that, but I don't care. It's my land, my house, my rules. And if anyone wants to try again, they better bring more than a clipboard and a forged signature. So what do you think? Is it ever justified for a community to rewrite the rules and take someone's home? Where's the line between keeping order and straight up stealing someone's dream? I want to hear your take. Drop your thoughts, your stories, your HOA horror tales in the comments. Let's get real about what justice and community actually mean.